How to be a good leader in the construction environment. Construction's a very difficult industry to be in. You've got to lead lads to get them to do things and get them to do projects on time, on budget. It's difficult, but it all starts with leadership at the top. I'm a big believer in that. So if you don't know me, my name's Dean Barton. I've been in the construction industry for nearly 20 years, and at times I've managed up to 50 people. So I've got experience in leadership and running people and getting the best out of them. So for this video, leadership, how to be really good at leadership on site, on projects, with the team. Number one, you have to be the example. There is nothing worse than a hypocritical leader who doesn't do what he's trying to get other people to do. So you have to be the example, because you probably want, in this industry, you want people to be on time. You want them to be presentable. You want them to communicate. You want them to good service. You want them to work hard. All of the qualities that you want from anyone in your team: doing the right thing, being ethical, anything you can think of, any quality that you want from anyone on your team or in your business. If you don't possess that quality yourself and you don't live by those qualities yourself, you are a hypocrite. No one will ever listen to you. No one will ever respect you. No one will ever do what you want. They'll just clock in, clock out mentality, and they'll just do what's in it for them. People follow people that are worth following. Leadership is about following someone. So if you're not this person, turn off this video, because you're wasting your time with everything else. You've got to be the example. And the worst, what I found, is people that talk about being on time or talking about good communication or working hard are the people that do the very opposite. They're hypocrites. So do not be that person. Be the example that everyone will go, well, yeah, he does it this way, we've got to do it that way. That's the standard that he expects. Number two, ownership. More importantly, extreme ownership. Good leaders own shit. Something goes wrong, they own it. They manage it, they find a solution, they find a way, they tackle the problem. They don't bury their head in the sand. They do not procrastinate. Should have done this in red. They don't overthink. And they don't leave problems. They don't just, well, let's just see how it goes, and oh, I don't know what's going to happen if that happens. They don't pause. They don't stop in their tracks. They find solutions. So you've got to be that person. You've got to own it. At the end of the day, if people are working under your command, you are the leader. That comes with the hat of being a leader and the responsibility of being a leader. You've got to own every problem that might go on site or in the business. It's your problem. Regardless of whether it was actually your fault or not, or you caused the problem, it is ultimately your problem. And you will be a much better leader if you take it with that mindset and go, okay, I didn't create this problem, but it is my problem. So I'm going to own it, man up, and tackle it and deal with it for the greater good of the team, because I'm being the example of the right person. Then you've got to set the standards. You've got to set the standards that you want people to work to. You've got to set the standards of quality of work. And you've got to set your expectations that are non-negotiable. You've got to set the standards and expectations that I expect you to turn up 10 minutes before the working day starts, or half an hour before the working day starts. I expect you to sign in. I expect you to plan ahead for the next day. I expect you to deliver quality work. I expect you to clean up after yourself. I expect you to be nice to other people. I expect you to come and talk to me if you've got a problem on site or you see a problem coming up. You've got to set the standards and the expectations. People will not do it on their own. You've got to remember, 90% of the world are just employee mindseted people. They just go to work, do their day's work and go home. They're not like us as business owners. They're not thinking of knock-on problems or the worry of something not working out, because it's not their problem. They're just there to do the day's work. Whereas you've got to set the standard that, look, this is how it works here. This is the game. This is what it's like when you work for me and work for us in this business. I expect this, and this is the standard. If you can't meet that standard, there's not a place for you to work here. Sorry, that's just how it is. You've got to set that standard. You can't criticise people if you haven't set the standard and set the expectations in the first place. So get very, very clear on that. Then, number 4, most important thing is accountability. You have got to hold people accountable to those standards. You can only hold people accountable to the standards and the example that you set. So if you don't, you can't do accountability. And this is, right here, this is the difference between an amazing team and an average or dog shit team. It's just the reality of it. Accountability is massive. Accountability of checking in on what people are doing and making sure they're sticking to what they said they were going to do. And you see why I said at the beginning that you can't be a hypocrite and not do what you say you're going to do at the start and then try and hold people accountable to doing what they said they're going to do, or their work standards, if you don't do it yourself. So it's all linked in logical order. You've got to hold people accountable. The best teams in the world are held accountable to results, to statistics, to the realities and just the facts of, did that job get completed on time? Yes or no? Is the quality good enough? Yes or no? Is the customer happy? Yes or no? The accountability factor's got to be massive. So I would check in with your people, depending on the job, at least weekly. But it might be daily for smaller jobs. And, you know, depending on the position of the person as well, whether they're a site manager, whether they're a working foreman or an apprentice, there's different levels of accountability needed. But you should be checking in with people all the time and pulling people up on stuff. Because in this industry, a lot of people let things go. They let things slide and don't talk to people, don't actively say, what happened with this? Why did you do it that way? They just let mistakes happen and fester up, and it causes you money, it causes you time, it causes you problems, and it's just not a good way to go. You've got to be on the accountability factor all the time. For every single person in the business, there's got to be a level of accountability, otherwise you will not perform as a great team. Number 5, be a coach and not a boss. Don't be a dictator. Don't be the annoying little boss who just turns up for 5 minutes on site, shouts loads of orders, and then walks away. You've got to be the coach, because that's what people are going to respect. Because someone might not be meeting the standards because they need some help. Maybe the accountability factor is checking in and coaching them and not being well, why have you done this? Why have you not done that? Why has this not worked out like this? And actually being a coach and go, talk me through this. Why did you think that was okay? What can we do to help you not do this mistake again, not make this mistake again? How can we help you be better at your job? Because everyone wants to be good at their job. Like, think about it logically. People don't want to be told off. People don't want to be pulled up for doing a shit job. But maybe sometimes, and a lot of times, people just need to be coached and shown in a proactive, friendly manner. And the more like this you are, the more approachable you are, the more people are going to be willing to come and speak to you and tell you problems and actually become leaders below you. And that is the ultimate sign of a good leader, is that people below you become leaders themselves, and then you can start relying on those people. When that starts happening, you know you've cracked leadership. You know that other people are stepping up to the plate and becoming better leaders themselves. That is the golden goose in business, because that is what allows you to get your time back and allows you to relax, because you've got good, strong leadership in the business. But that only comes from coaching people and showing them, because no one knows what they're doing. You know, no one's an expert in everything, and they have to learn your ways, your methods, and the better ways of doing things to run a better business, to run a better project, and ultimately run a better team. But it's all going to come down to team. Leadership is about building a team. Good businesses are about a team. So coach people. Number 6, be direct and be short. Don't spend 200 words when you can say it in 10 words. Be very direct, very short. Meetings should be for a particular purpose. If you've got a meeting in the diary or a site meeting, it should be, right, this meeting is to get a solution to this problem, X problem, Y problem. These are the potential options. What do we think? And you pick one, and you get a resolution, and you get an action step. That is all a meeting should be. A meeting should not be well, let's meet up for a coffee and we'll have 2 hours chatting shit and chat about the weather and chat about the football, chat about the news. We haven't got time in this industry. In fact, no one's got any time, regardless of what business you're in. You've got to be short, direct, to the point, so people know where they stand. Because if you talk for hours and you don't leave that meeting with clear action points, nothing will get done. Nothing will get done, and no progress will be made, and the problem will keep happening over and over again. There has to be a point to the meeting and an outcome to the meeting, direct and short. And people actually prefer direct and short, I've found. Some people, it takes a little while to get used to it because they like the cuddly stuff, you know. But actually being direct and going, we've got this problem, how do we solve it? These are the options, bang, let's go. You do that, you do that, you do that, I'll do this bit, see you later, bye. It's so much easier, so much quicker, because we haven't got time on site to mess around. You need to be that way, be direct and short. And then lastly, the thing I've listed off here is hard conversations. There will become times, just facts of life, where people will underperform on site, they'll let you down, they'll be late, they'll mess something up. There will be a meeting where it will be highlighted that someone's not performing, and what I found is that you need to have the hard conversations immediately. If you notice something is off, if you know someone's not performing, or maybe actually someone's acting different and you think, I think something's wrong with that person, you need to have the hard conversations. And what I found in this industry, considering we're an industry full of men, they don't like to be singled out in a meeting room full of other people. These hard conversations need to be had one-on-one, and just say to that particular person, you've got 5 minutes, why don't we just have a quick chat, and do it in private. So it's just a one-to-one simple meeting. And go, look, I've noticed you're not performing how you normally would. I've noticed the standards slipped a little bit, because you're holding them accountable. It's all linked stuff. But those one-to-one hard conversations, if you notice something, if your gut's telling you something's wrong, you need to action it straight away. Do not ignore it, because a problem ignored will only get worse and worse and worse. And sometimes you need to eat a frog for breakfast and tackle the hard conversations that you need to have to be a better leader. And people respect that as well when you notice something's not right. Because occasionally, someone just needs a bit of help. Someone needs pointing in the right direction. And sometimes having that difficult conversation and saying to someone, you fucked up, or you're not doing good enough, makes them level up. And then you're going to have a better team and ultimately be a better leader to run that team as well. So that's 7 key steps of being a better leader. I hope that you found that video useful. If you'd like more free content, there's a podcast below this video in the link below. Check it out and I'll see you in the next one.